Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to my review for Turbo, Vroom Vroom Fast. And this is a brand new DreamWorks animated film. We had one earlier this year, The Croods, and I really enjoyed that film. So I was looking forward to this one. It had a pretty, interesting premise. It was a racing movie with a snail. It was a snail that is, if you do not know, if you haven't learned by now, are typically slow, but in this one he's really fast. It's a snail played by Ryan Reynolds, and he can go fast, and his name is Turbo. And I was actually somewhat looking forward to this film. I like DreamWorks. I thought the trailer itself was interesting. I don't know, I thought it was okay. It wasn't great, but I was like, hey, you know what, I'm looking forward to it. DreamWorks usually does quality products. So what did I think of Turbo? Well, is it a better racing movie than Cars? Well, probably, but let's talk about it with the story. Alright, so the story for Turbo follows Theo, a garden snail voiced by Ryan Reynolds, who really wants to be fast. He watches TV, which is ridiculous, but I don't know how he got the TV, but he watches TV all the time. He watches this one guy, I can't remember his name, but he's like the best racer out there, and he just wants to be him. He wants to be a racer, but because he's a snail, he can't because he's slow. But inadvertently, he falls into a race car that has nitrous in it, and somehow the nitrous mixes with his DNA and spits him out, and somehow, someway, he now can go about 250 miles per hour. He is just a fast snail. He meets up with a taco shop owner played by Michael Pena, and he goes, hey man, you're really fast. We can get you into the Indianapolis 500, and we can win that race, and my taco shop and everybody else around me can be very popular, and you'll be awesome. You'll live your dream. He doesn't say that because he has no idea what the snail is thinking, but hey man, I can use you. We can win. And of course, he's a snail. Indianapolis, there's cars. He's a snail. There's some stuff about that. His brother, voiced by Paul Giamatti, really doesn't want him to do that, and you see where it's gonna go pretty much. It's an underdog story with a snail. And I love me an underdog story, especially one with heart, and this one definitely does have heart. I really enjoyed myself with the story. Now, of course, I say this all the time, but it's an animated film. It goes where you would expect it to go, so yes, it is predictable. You know what's going to happen at the end. Even if you're a 9-year-old kid watching this, you should go to bed. It's past your bedtime. But if you are watching this, you most likely will know how this ends. But you're there to enjoy the ride, and for the most part, it is a very entertaining story. Ryan Reynolds, Paul Giamatti, Samuel L. Jackson, even Snoop Dogg, and a few other of the voice actors do a damn good job with their roles, especially Ryan Reynolds, who many people aren't really caring for nowadays. Hell, I'm about to see him in R.I.P.D. in a couple days, and we'll see if he's good or not in that, but many people are, a little flaky with him. But you know what? I thought he did a great job as the voice of Turbo, or Dio, whatever one you want to call him, and everybody else, did a damn good job. So voice acting wise is great, and so is the story. The story is predictable, but it's a lot of fun, and it has heart. It has heart. So yeah, good job. I liked it. I would even dare say that this movie is a better racing movie than Cars or Cars 2, especially Cars 2. But Cars 1 had some, good racing scenes, I would say. Actually, there was a couple of them. This only has one. It's long, and it's actually kind of tense. I will say that. It's silly, and it's still predictable. But there's times where I'm like, oh god, what the hell? They just throw everything at you, like, oh, this snail's about to get squashed, or oh, this snail's losing its powers, and blah, 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 blah. And they just throw all this stuff in there in that last 10 minutes, and it's crazy. And let me just say, the animation here is spectacular. I mean, it's DreamWorks, you would expect that. But there's a couple times where they actually use visuals in very interesting ways besides just showing environments, and I thought that was really cool, especially when he's actually going really fast. Everything's blurry. There's times where it actually it does this thing where he's always daydreaming, so you just see in the background like just some racing tracks happening, even if he's not really actually racing. It's a little hard to explain, but they do some cool stuff with the visuals. And yeah, the visuals are fantastic here. The racing sequence, I would say, there's not too many racing parts in this. There's a couple parts where you would see him run around, and it looks pretty cool. But there's only really one racing scene in this movie, and it's at the end. And again, like I said, it's tense and it looks great. So overall, I don't really need to say much else. I think Turbo is a lot of fun. It's not the best animated movie out there. It has a couple problems here and there. I would actually say, even though I like Snoop Dogg and some of the other voice actors, some of the other snails in the movie kind of got on my nerves a couple times here and there. And there's some pop culture references, and they use a lot of music that I just felt they didn't need to. It's not the funniest animated movie out there, but for the most part, I still very much enjoyed Turbo. It's definitely better than Epic, which was probably the last animated movie that I saw that I was like, It's definitely better than that. So I'm going to give this a 31 out of 40. I really enjoyed Turbo. It's a fun movie. Definitely bring the family, and you'll have a good time. So there you go. There is my review for Turbo. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you, and goodbye.